like back, I don't know how many years ago. We never went any place very far, Newcastle once in a while, but then usually with your mother or your brother or somebody.
Okay.
So anyway, I had finished school, and I fiddled around for a year, and I decided I'd join one of the services, so I wrote them all. Air Force had enough, they didn't want any more from Blackville.
I'm already
And
there.
anyway, the Navy wasn't taking any more, so the Army's there. So I waited, and about a month, I got a pass over at the station, in letter, and I got my ticket to go to St. John for a medical. Well, I'd never been to a doctor before in my life. Well, you don't know what kind of medical they give you, all these nice young doctors. My face was red for about a week afterwards. Anyway, I got that over with and they sent me home. I waited another month and they got word to go to Fredericton. So I went to Fredericton and they proceeded to swear me in. And when they swear you in, remember, that ends all your rights. If they say jump, you just say ha-ha. That's it. Whatever they tell you to do, you just do. So anyway, they didn't take me out of there the first week. You can't sit there and do nothing. They gave us all our uniforms with all the badges and stuff to sew on. You must remember that.
Wow.
Sewing your badges on.
No.
Well, I did. My sewing wasn't very good. I could sew on a button, but that was about it. Anyway, I got my badges sewn on, and they put me in the kitchen to wash dishes. While I was waiting to go, you can't sit around not doing it. So I washed dishes from breakfast time till about 7 o'clock that night for a whole week. Well, that was bad enough. The next week they said, well, maybe they'd put me on pots and pans, and that's in big Dixies. So I washed big Dixies then for about 3 weeks. And then they sent me to Kitchener, Ontario. Well, there's not a lot of firsts in my life when I joined the Army. Because when we went to Kitchener, we were going to be on the train overnight. And I'd never been on the train overnight before. And now they don't have any little rooms, they just had a top bunk with curtains on it. There's men and everybody else and all the other ones. Kind of scary, but anyway. We got to Montreal, and they marched us off the train and into this room, and up to the steps, and the steps were going. It was an escalator. I never saw steps go before. Anyway, I got on the steps and we went up, and they had a table all set in the room for the bunch of us that was there. And they fed us our breakfast there, and then they marched it down on a train, and a different train. We proceeded to go to Kitchener. Anyway, we get to Kitchener, another first. They take you in, we have our kit bags, and all our stuff in them. First thing you do is park your kit bag, go through a medical thing again, and they check you for lice and crabs. And that's just every time you went from one base to another, that was the first thing they did when you went there. So it got to be just that you knew what they were going to do to you. So anyway, we get to Kitchener. Well, there's about probably close to 1,000 girls there. And we're all in the barracks. And the barracks, they say now kids should have a room, lots of room of their own. The barracks, there was 2 double bunks with a dresser between them, and they just barely fit between them. There's 4 drawers in the dresser. Each girl had a drawer. And on the other end, after the door, was a place to hang your uniform, a barrack box, and a place to sit your hat. That was it. So anyway, and then every morning, when you get up to go to breakfast, after you came back, you didn't make your bed. You had to take your bed all apart, fold all your blankets up, and everything you had that the Army had given you, laid out on your bed for the Sergeant Major to come along and look at. And that's even the bottoms of your shoes polished. I thought they must have been crazy. But anyway, you had to do it. And then it would be out in the parade square, and we walked and walked and walked and walked. And they checked you every once in a while to make sure everything was just right, your tie was tied right. And if you went out to go to Kitchener for anything, they had a girl on the gate, and if your shirt wasn't ironed, or nothing wasn't pressed, or your hair was a little too long and hanging below your hat, well, you just packed. That was it. No talk, just you didn't get out. Anyway, after we learned how to read maps and all kinds of stuff, first aid, different things in Kitchener. And then they take you and they decide what you want to do. So they sent me back to Ottawa to take a clerk's course. So I went back to Ottawa and learned how to type and all different things that you have to know in the army, how to fill out papers and stuff. I was there for 2 months, and they decided I did good enough there, so they sent me to Saskatoon. And after being in Saskatoon, I was out there for 4 months. But I had a girlfriend in Ottawa, and we used to go to Montreal on weekends because there wasn't too much to see in Ottawa. We'd already visited all the Catholic Church because her sister was a Mother Superior and she wanted to see all the Catholic churches. So we went to the mall, saw them all, every place we went. And then we went to, we used to go to Montreal, and we used to go to the army hut there. And we had learned to play ping pong pretty good. And we'd go in there, we'd play ping pong, and some of the guys would come along and they'd say, we'll play a game. Can we play a game against you? We'd say, sure, but if we beat you, you got to buy the coffee. Well, we were pretty good. We could beat them. We got lots of coffee and donuts. And then Ottawa was really dull, but Saskatoon was nice. They had a big recreation center there, that there was something going on every night. But we went to school in the daytime. We had our own teachers, and we went to like the public schools, high schools. And then from there, after we got done there, I thought that it sent me out west. Maybe I was kind of wanting to go further, but they didn't. They sent me back to Fredericton, and they sent me back to number 7th District, and there I worked in the records office until I was discharged. And I even put my own papers to the discharge, because usually you didn't get to see your own documents. So that was about it. It was a good experience. It's a great experience. I think they should put everybody in service for a few months just to, try to get them, teach them how to take orders. And, I was in for 2 years and 2 months. 20 months. I would have stayed in, but they weren't keeping the girls in. They kicked me out.